Now welcome back to the channel, everybody. You know, on here we like to talk about dangerous airports. That's just a big topic here on the channel. We have visited the whole world pretty much, talked about the most interesting and dangerous airports indeed, but what we haven't done yet is an actual ranking of what I find is really the most dangerous airport on this planet. I've really never said, okay, this is, in my opinion, you know what I mean? Whatever. Yeah, it is time again for another tier list. You know, tier lists are kind of an outdated trend now from 2019, where mostly YouTubers created some rankings and told their opinion on stuff. Again, 2019. Now I've done some tier list videos too about my favorite planes, my favorite airlines, and also my favorite flight simulators. But again, something I've really never done is somewhat of an airport ranking. So here I have compiled a list. It did take me, by the way, quite a bit of a while for some reason to create this, with the most interesting and most dangerous airports. And this is also a little bit inspired by all these websites that talk about the most dangerous airports and will have the audacity to rank them, let me just put it that way, because they are sometimes having some weird ratings. For example, Princess Diana Airport is the second most dangerous airport on the planet. Are you sure that Princess Diana Airport, this, I think, 8,000 foot long runway, is literally the second most dangerous airport on the planet? Yeah, I don't think so. But yeah, today, let me do my own try on this. I've done a few, you know, ranking categories. Crazy would be, I think, the most dangerous airport. Then we have dangerous, we've got a pro, we've got challenging, and we've got only interesting airports, which I would, by the way, put St. Martin to. You know, have I properly explained this now? I think I have. Now, of course, here, since we have the flight simulator also loaded up, we can just visit the world, visit some of these airports, and, you know, get a little bit of an idea of everything, okay? So, again, let's just, you know, really dive right into the interesting part. Now, there are some other airports ranked as one of the most dangerous airports on the planet that I don't really understand. For example, Gibraltar Airport, which I would also only put as interesting. I mean, yes, it is true that this place does have a bit of a short runway, but I would never be, you know, in any way scared to be flying into this airport. Yeah, what I forgot to mention here is that most of these airports here on this list in this video are actually commercial airports. You can technically buy just an airline ticket to most of these places and visit them, alright? This is a bit of like a requirement I made, and I'm messing up this landing. I was concentrating on talking a little bit too much. Let's just see if this is, I guess this could work. 777 is quite a workhorse when it comes to landings. Good, let's come in and stop. Yep, I think this has worked well. Gibraltar Airport. And another airport often ranked as the most dangerous airport on the planet for some reason is Aspen in Colorado. I also believe that's only interesting, but let's just move on to challenging, because now we're actually moving towards, you know, somewhat of, you know, a more dangerous airport for sure. For example, we have airports like Barra Airport. Now, this is what it looks like. I mean, as you can tell, there are A320s flying here. They're only flown by very pro pilots, of course. Actually, both pilots on board have to be captains, I think. That's like the deal of it. But still, this is like a 8,000 foot long runway, pretty long runway, just a little bit of a tough approach. I would say this is challenging. And what else do we've got? Would also put Madeira here. We all know and love Merida Airport. Quite challenging, but nothing to be scared of, to be put this way, okay? I think also I would put London. I'm pretty much running out of airports here with the first few categories. Yep, London City should be here too. I mean, we've talked so much about this airport. It has so many restrictions. It's just, you know. But again, would you be scared to fly into London City here with an airliner? I'm pretty sure not. Okay, maybe with this landing, we might, yeah, have a different idea. Yeah, this is London City, pretty much the worst landing it ever had in the Avro by Swiss Airlines. They also fly here, now with an A220. But yeah, this is just a regular airport too. Now, I've got another interesting airport that I would actually also put here, and that is Barra Airport, often rated as the most dangerous airport on the planet, which I never really get. I mean, all it's got is a beach runway, right? Yeah, this is what it looks like here in the flight simulator. Let's go to the beach. Ninki Minjaj. Also, a very interesting airport, a bit challenging too, but that's all that is to it. And no, we're definitely not going to be able to take off this 777 out of here. Great. Welcome to Scotland. Now, it is time to move on then to Pro, and we're starting to really get to an interesting level for sure. Now, an airport I would actually put here definitely is Santos Dumont, which is pretty much the biggest airport that I would believe is pretty interesting to fly into. I mean, I've recently talked about this airport, right? I mean, Santos Dumont has got some super short runways. They're down here. The approach is super interesting too. We have to come in like this and turn to the left at the Sugarloaf Mountain here in Rio de Janeiro. And yes, indeed, this airport is pretty much in the middle of the city, pretty much downtown, and overrunning will only overrun you into water. Again, pretty short runways. The biggest plane to come here is like a 737 that's been specially modified. So this is definitely a really pro-level airport. Also only performed by 2 captains, right? Only really the most experienced pro pilots fly here, which is why, you know, it's a pro level, you know? And, you know, just flying the 777 here is merely genuinely impossible, pretty much. This plane is just not agile enough for this approach turn. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this turn here on the approach, super not easy. Very hard to handle. Let's come in for a bit of a landing here. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, I think this is looking good, though. This is looking good. I've got this under control, I think. This is going to be a hard landing, though. Oh, my goodness. This is such a short runway. I forgot. Oh, wow. How does a 737 fly here? This may generally be the shortest runway to ever serve a 737. I mean, look at how short this is. Very unforgiving airport, but maybe this is going to work here in this 777. Yeah. Regular service, though, here with this kind of plane, definitely not. And another airport I would put to pro is, I think, Telluride in Colorado. Yeah, located pretty much also in the middle of the mountains. It looks like this. It's pretty much a tabletop runway, meaning that if you run over here, the runway, then you're off the cliff pretty much. That's all that's gonna happen. Look at this. Can this picture load? There we go. Yeah, pretty short runway, followed up by a cliff. Not particularly good, but actually there are commercial flights here too. Daily commercial flights to begin at Telluride Airport. Yeah, yep, indeed. So for every airport here on this list is actually served by commercial airlines. Even the Barra Beach Airport, which British Airways flies there, right? Holy moly, they're crazy. But now comes really some interesting airports indeed. Yep, pretty much the 4 horsemen of interesting and dangerous airports for sure. For example, we've got St. Bartholomew and Staba Airport, which I would put to dangerous. Yeah, both of these airports are actually a very close vicinity. The St. Bartholomew is right here, and this is Staba down here. Yep, Staba Airport, literally known for being the airport with the shortest runway on this planet at 300 meters. Although I wouldn't rate this as the most dangerous airport. I mean, they fly Twin Otters here. Again, commercial airport. You can book a flight here. Very expensive flight, by the way. Yeah, but they fly very easy to stop planes here, not the 777, hopefully. Yeah, see, I wouldn't rate this as the most dangerous airport on the planet, even though, again, it has the shortest runway, because, you know, it's not always about length, and somehow I've said this before in another scenario, because, I mean, it only has really water surrounding it. You can just take off. If a plane that's high performance enough, this is no problem. This is going to be a problem, although. Yeah, I mean, maybe this is actually gonna work. Okay. Well, that's MH370 all over again. Of course, Staba's close friend St. Bartholomew, even though it has like twice as long of a runway, is known for its interesting approach where you have to fly above this hill here, which is really interesting indeed, and late landings here, just like this one, which actually did lead to like an overrun here. Welcome back to What's One. This is great. But yeah, this is definitely a pro-level airport. And so is Courchevel. Yes, now comes the interesting part. Top 2, definitely Courchevel too. Located in the Alpine Mountains, this airport, and sometimes I do wonder, how do planes actually fly here? I mean, look at this. This is, by the way, now in winter time too. This 500-meter long runway is really challenging. I mean, look at the slope. Landing here really is not easy. I think that this is generally one of the airports that I'm really would be scared to fly, right? Even though I do kind of occasionally do sit in a plane, I wouldn't fly here ever, honestly. This is actually the only airport on this list that does not have a scheduled airliner service. Kind of the odd one out, but it's just, we have to include it, of course, in the tier list too. I mean, look at this. I mean, you could charter like a private jet, not really a jet, a private PC-12, and some pilots that could fly here. And, well, they need to be certified pilots, by the way. I mean, this could work, but I would probably not recommend it. Great. And so let's travel around the world to another place that has mountains. Lucra, definitely the most dangerous airport on this planet. Although it is quite obvious how this airport can be the most dangerous airport. But we'll just take a look at it here in the flight simulator. I mean, look at this runway, 500 meter long too. Look how sloped it is. Look how we're gonna go down now. This is genuinely dangerous. This is on a mountain, just like Courchevel. But this is Courchevel, but more extreme. This has a bit of a actually narrower runway too. I've never really realized that. This is at an altitude of 9,200 feet, right? That is just crazy high high, of course, for an airport. Planes really don't perform well up here because the air is so thin. I mean, look at this. It's on a mountain. It's got a short runway too. And something I do really want to mention as well is the weather. When we turn the live weather on, which actually synchronizes it to live weather, this is happening. This is literally the weather right now. You see, that's actually the most challenging part of this airport. It's not even just the short runway and the on top of a mountain beingness. It's also just the fact that I mean, look at this, all right? Let's come in for a bit of a landing, see if this is gonna work. Yeah, the occasional crash does happen here, of course, too. This is another airport I would be genuinely scared to fly at. I mean, I do rate this as the most dangerous airport, right? This is definitely some interesting one indeed. Let's come in for a bit of a landing. So you really gotta have nice control of your plane. Make sure not to fly it super slowly, because what does happen occasionally is that you go too slow and stall out here before the runway actually starts, and then you crash before the runway starts. You know what I mean? On this cliff. But that has worked. Pretty hard of a landing, but we are still alive. That's great. But yeah, that is the most dangerous airport, and that is my tier list on, the most dangerous airports. I'm pretty sure I forgot like a ton of interesting dangerous airports. I know this will get like 1,000 comments about places that people suggest, but this is just the personal airports that I just came up with my mind, right? So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. As always, good night. Now, thank you to my members here on YouTube like Block, Emite, Mubarak, Mike, Ethan, Darren, Stefan, Ian, Oman the Human, Rafael Burkowski, Junk in the Trunk, Moritz, Toby, Great Grandpa John, Government Pasta, Calamity Airlines, Kelly Chaos, New York, Tyler Park, Cheese Doritos, Shadow, Anime Planes 001, X-Men Show, Deslama, Futuring, Kellen, Me By You, Captain Cameron, Spiro, Gary, Norwegian, Bajel, and Parology.